If you've ever gotten absolutely lasered out of nowhere, this video is for you, because today I'm going to give you some simple tips to always spot your opponent first. Let's start with the 3 biggest mistakes I see when it comes to awareness. And the first one is running in a straight line. I know you're probably asking yourself how running in a straight line could possibly be a mistake, but anytime you're running around, you should be jumping and sliding like this so you can scan all directions for players. Plus, this has the added benefit of making you harder to hit compared to just running in a straight line. Number 2 is not using the terrain. High ground is your best friend when it comes to spotting players and winning fights, because you can see so much further and you already start on height if somebody pushes you. But don't just stand on the top of a mountain, because if you can see far, other players can also see you from far away. So instead, run on one side of the hill until you make sure there's nobody on that side. Then you can go to the top and check the rest of the area without worrying about getting headshot sniped from the other side. And number 3 is not having the right settings, because your settings could be completely selling you for trying to spot players. So let's take a look at your settings to make sure they aren't holding you back. Starting with colorblind mode, do not skip this. I'm sure we've all fought somebody on the edge of storm before, and if you have, you'd know it's almost impossible to see through the storm. So by changing your colorblind settings, you can see way clearer. In order to find which setting works best for you, hop into my Zone Wars map and try out a couple settings to see which one is clearest. Next, turn your shadows off, because we're not watching a Pixar movie. We're trying to spot a guy crouching behind a tree 200 meters away. So turn off your shadows and you'll be able to see so much more. It's actually insane the difference this one makes. Turn them off and thank me later. Next is brightness. This one's easy, just crank it up to somewhere around 110%. Not enough to blind yourself, but enough to stop confusing trees with players. Now on to performance mode. If you're not using performance mode in 2025, you're not going to be able to be that competitive. Yes, the game looks like Minecraft from Temu, but it makes players stand out way more because there aren't blades of grass everywhere and the bushes are easier to see through, not to mention the FPS boost. Okay, let's rapid fire some tips that you can start using today. Make sure you use audio cues. If you've played without headphones before, you know it's way harder to tell where people are, so make sure you're paying attention to the audio cues so you know exactly where your enemy is at all times. If you think someone's camping in a cone, you can check by holding your builds, and if they're holding the edit, it will show this lock icon. Make sure you're watching the shooting noises on your sound effect wheel, because even if you aren't W keying, you can remember that general directions to know where players are probably going to come from or where they're probably going to rotate so you can ambush them. You gotta have performance mode on just for the better bush graphics, because you can see people on the edges of bushes that think they're hidden, and that's just a free beam. If you're staring at your crosshair, you can't be scanning around, so try putting a light behind your monitor, especially if you're playing in a dark room, and it will surprise you how much less you stare at the center of your screen after using this. Especially in tournaments, people love to camp in dumpsters, but they actually make footsteps every few seconds, and if you realize where it's coming from, you can get a free kill like I did in this tournament clip. Know where heals are, vending machines, slurp barrels, anything like that, because if you get someone low, you'll know where they're most likely be headed. Use bushes, rocks, roofs, anything that gives you better visibility than others, because if they can't see you, you have more time to see them. Subscribe if you want more of these sweaty tips turned into fun, digestible content. And if you want to know how to get super good peaks with the weirdest edits, check out my last video. Trust me, you're probably using walls wrong and I'll prove it.